Alright, hey there. Okay, so this stream's going to be on using Supabase. We're going to continue on with the rest of the stream, I guess, with trying to build a Next.js app from scratch. And we've gone through the planning stages already. We've set up the React app using Next.js. And we're now at the point where we are going to set up a database. Okay, so how are we going to do this? Well, first things, let's jump to the Supabase website because it's got a really good walkthrough there of a quick start. Okay, so you can see here it's got the likes of Supabase with Next.js. That's what we're using. It's asking for creating a new project on the Supabase dashboard. Okay, and it goes through the process of setting up a table in the database. Okay, so if we go to the Supabase dashboard, okay, so I've got this, this is my project, the LMS one, and I've got no tables in it at present. So I'm going to create a new table, just like the guide showed us, and I'm going to insert some data into it as well. Of course, on this one, I'm not going to be adding countries. I am going to be adding some courses for the LMS. So let's go and do so. Create a new table. You want to pluralize the name, of course, so courses. I'll disable RLS for now. You probably wouldn't want to do this. Actually, no, I'll keep it on. No, let's keep it on. I'll do something else instead. Thinking through. So we're going to have the likes of a new public table. We're going to have an ID and it's created at. And this is a nice little simple user interface. You could do the same using some SQL, but the interface is pretty good in terms of that. So let's do that. Okay. So we're going to need a few things, I guess, for a course name. A course name. So we're going to have a name here, and it's going to be some text. Or varchar probably would be better. And I'm going to add a description. Again, this one I will actually make it text. And I'm going to add another column here for some. We need to have an image, I think. Let's do that. I could have this as some data, but probably the easiest thing to do in this scenario. Of course, we don't want to bloat out a database or anything like that. Supabase doesn't really give you the option there to add the data directly to it, but we can instead add a varchar character string length there, and then we're going to have like the image URL. We would use some sort of storage system to save that into a database. Okay, so we've got an image, we've got a name, we've got a description, we've got the created at. Let's save that. Okay, so we should shortly see it loading up the table. Here we go. Okay, so we've got no data in here at the moment. We've got a name, a description, an image, an ID in this table here. So going back to the guide, we can actually start adding some values to our table. And so there's a SQL editor to do that. Let's sort of start off with that. Okay, so on the left hand side here, you've got sort of the table editor, and then you've got the SQL editor. If we open that up, And this is the new AI stuff. We'll do just a new query. Okay. Let's close that because that's just a bit confusing. I'm having some trouble with the entering there. Where that is. Anyway, let's insert some data. So this wasn't there last time I've done this before. So we're going to insert into the courses table. Insert into name. That's what we're going to add. And grab that. Just change it. Okay, so we've got a name there, and the value is going to be React for beginners. Okay. Okay. So set in the change. This is quite cool. I haven't seen this before. So this is, yeah, that's pretty cool. AI way to add data to your database. Getting the, well, instead of having to do it as a insert there, I could have probably say add name value called to the table there. Let's try that. Accept that change. Is it going to let me? It's not getting so. I don't know why that's not letting me. Weird. This is not making this easy. Oh, okay. So it's like it's not letting me actually edit this. This is great. Maybe I found a bug? Maybe I have. Not to worry. Let's see what it says. So include anonymous data, metadata, and AI queries. Let's see if it'll let us access it then. No. I wonder why this is breaking. It's not to worry. Let's refresh this. Add new course named Next.js for beginners. Kind of weird, it popped up with the accept there, and I am not having luck today, am I? Oh, here we go. So accept that. Okay, now I can do this. Let's hopefully I can run this, and it should add this to my database. Cool. Success, that's good. Let's go back to our, we want to go back to a table view. Close that one. And we'll open that. Okay, so straight away we've got some new data now in our table. We've got the record there for React.js. We've got no description or image yet, but we can start adding some more records in here just to get something to display on the page once we list out these from the database. I'm going to go back to the edit there. I'm going to add another one what do we have? CSS 101. Okay, so that's going to add that record in as well, and we'll do one more. What's another one? HTML5. HTML, what's new? Okay, cool, so that's added. And if we go back to our table view, sure enough, we've got those 3 records now. We've got a name there for each of them. I'm still missing an image and description, but we can add that in later. Okay, let's go back to the guide here. Okay, and we can see here that we've got, oh, that's new, I haven't seen that before. On the hover now, it shows you how much memory each tab's using. Pretty cool. Haven't seen that before. That's all good. Okay, so we've got these 3 records now in our table, just similar to the example here with countries. We're not going to do the create next step because we've already got it up and running. We've already got that set up. What we will need to do, if you haven't already, is to create an env file. So in the project on the GitHub, I actually already have this. Let's pull this up so you guys can see as well. Let me see. Okay, so I've got this LMS here. Okay, so in here I have a local env example. So what you're going to need to do is go into your settings for Supabase here, just like the link here. Follow this link here. It'll take you to the API page. You'll have a URL and you'll have an anonymous key. You'll need to put those into an env file and something like that. env.local, that's a good place to start. Add those keys in there, and that's what I've already done. So if we look at my code, okay, so just like I said, I've got an example file here. You'd add those keys in there. Make sure you stop and start so that you get your environment keys to load, because without it, your app won't reload the environment, these environment variables, unless you do that. Okay, so once you've done that, you've added those keys in there. We can go back to the tutorial. Okay, and it's got an example here. They've got a page that they've created, sort of countries page.tsx. Okay, so it's for a TypeScript file. And what they've done is they've created a component, used the cookies there to import the header there, and then it does a call off to the Supabase library and gets the countries for that. So for those that maybe have done some SQL in the past, it pretty much is very much a similar sort of look to SQL for Supabase. So their whole, I guess their model for being able to retrieve from your tables, again using a from there, as you would in a select statement, and you've got the select statement at the end there, and by default I believe having no value in the actual brackets there means that you're going to get all the columns in the table. So let's start something like this up. Let's actually go and add something like this to our page. Now we can add a new page, so it might be a good idea to have a courses page. So I'm going to jump into VS Code. Okay, so we've got our structure here on the right hand side. Okay, so we've got an app, and in there is a page. So what I can have is the same again. If you haven't looked at the document sort of paging system of Next.js, it has a sort of quite basic sort of setup in terms of the app router, layout, and the actual what's going to be displayed in terms of layout, and page is the actual sort of content for it. So if we look at layout there, we've got a layout, we're loading in some styles, etc., which is all cool. Now let's go and add a new folder. Okay, and so the app router works basically by having a new folder name, and in it you can have a page file. So I'm going to have a folder called countries, like that. Okay, so we've got the countries, and we're going to need a page file. Alright, and we're going to need to have a component in there. So what would that look like? That could be something along the lines of this, maybe. So we'll just start typing that out. We're going to export a export default, and we're going to need to have this be async because we're going to be pulling in data for this home component. Maybe I should just call it courses. Why not? Okay, and in that we will need to have, we need to actually import the Supabase library. So if you haven't, so we probably should actually check to see if I've got this installed. Otherwise we won't be able to. Yes, I have installed it in the past. Okay. So what you could do in terms of that is go to the command line, run npm install and Supabase.js, and the Supabase auth help is Next.js. Its dependencies, it would look something like this. And we can take those same two libraries. So the great thing about npm on the install command there is you can actually have multiple items in there. Okay, this shouldn't make much difference unless there's some version changes or something, but yeah, no, looks like it's the same. So those are now installed for the project. I'm going to stop it, and I'm now going to add my courses here. So I need to import the server component client and the cookies header that was on that same tutorial on the Supabase website. Let's do that. Okay. Directly copy from the tutorial there. I'll paste that into the notes as well so that we can see that if you guys are following along in the chat. Okay. Awesome. Alright, so now we've got that set up. The next thing we're going to do is actually go and start setting this up. Okay, so we've got a courses component. We're going to need to render something, of course, from it. So we need to get the Supabase client first of all. Let's looking here at what Copilot's trying to do, but no, we don't want to quite do that. That's slightly different to what we want. And yeah, create the server component client. I think it's got to be like this. Okay, so the cookie's there, and we then need to have a way to retrieve data. Look at that, it's actually even, it's copied the same bit of text there that is sitting on the, funnily enough, the tutorial. We're not going to grab from the countries, we're going to grab from the courses. And like I mentioned before, it's very much like an SQL statement. So you've got the from there, so the from the table, and the select there. We're just doing a wildcard, so that's going to return all those values. Okay, cool. Okay, we've got that running. We can now do a return, because we want to actually display what we've got coming out of this. We'll start off with maybe some nice semantic HTML here, maybe a main. Okay, have a heading for it. So thankfully we do have something like that. So that's perfect. It's pretty much done what we've got. Okay, so we've got the data. We're mapping out the course. We've got a key, so that should be our database key items. So that should be all nice. And we've got the name itself. Very cool. Okay, so let's save that. I'm going to run the dev server again, and then we can jump back to the browser. Okay, so localhost 3000, it's not on our home page, it's going to be in the courses page. So if we loaded it, it would help probably if I had it under the app. Okay, so what have I done wrong? I've got my countries. So much following this tutorial, but I actually named the folder wrong. So that will probably help. There we go. Okay, so we've got our courses, but what is not working? Okay, so it looks like we're not getting anything displayed on the page, and that's okay. I kind of expected that, and there's a reason for that, and it's basically to do with the security there for the app. So what we need to do to make that accessible, we can do a couple of things, but probably the easiest one to do so is go into our table, and what we can do for it is set the policies on it. Okay, these view policies, and what we want to actually do is we want to make a new policy for this, and they've got some. This is basically Supabase's way of making sure that only information that's supposed to be accessible is accessible to the right users, and they've got these nice little policies here. So in this one, it's basically just a template wizard. You can select from one of these. So in our case, we actually want it so that the courses are easy to be seen from a non-logged in user. So I do want to enable read access to everyone here. So if I use this template, that's going to let me apply that. You've got really granular control here with Supabase, and that you can actually set what operations you can do and can't do. And in this case, it's pretty much all ready to go. So I only want to be able to use a select there, and I want to just have that showing. Basically, that's pretty much all I need. Good thing to do is read is when you get a chance is the documentation. But let's run this. Okay, so it's creating this policy. Setting to public. Okay, so now that policy is saved, we should be able to have read access now to our table, which we do. Well, our table, our list. So we're getting all the list of courses now being displayed onto the page, which is pretty cool. Not bad, not bad. Okay. So very quickly, we can pull sort of our database tables directly from the likes of Supabase. It's made it very simple to do the likes of our select requests and the like. As you can imagine, having a kind of syntax like this is also going to help stop being able to do sort of SQL injection and the likes. So having the client tool like this is pretty handy. So what we've got a list at the moment, an unordered list, and each list item we display the course name, and we could have the description and the image. So we could actually do something with that. Just sort of get some placeholders laid out. So I'm going to give it, at the moment it's not really that semantic. We need to give it some more meaning there. Probably use an H3 because I would probably suspect I'd use maybe another secondary heading maybe, or subtitle or the likes. So I'll use an H3 here. So we've got our course name, and then I'm going to have a description. Thank you Copilot. And we're also going to need an image there, of course, as well. Okay, here we go. And just like that, we've got our course name and an image. Awesome. Okay, let's go back. Sorry, I wasn't sharing that properly, was I? Seem to be having problems with the stream. Doesn't seem to be showing VS Code. Double check that. What's going on? Still not working. Okay, so let's have to play around with OBS. What is going on? Funnily enough, it's pulled in my notification center. And let's pull in code now instead. Get in there. Well, this is a pain. Nothing like having to do some changes on the fly. go. Fixed it. What a pain. Okay, cool. All good. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see that again. Let's just walk back through what actually happened there. So I've got a list item, listing through. I've got a image, like I said previously. I need to get that image to display, and I need to do the name. Okay, so what have we got next? We've got our course, we've got our image, we've got our H3 there, we've got our P tag for the description, which is all cool. Okay, and when we were back in our app, again, I'm still having a lovely time with OBS tonight. Okay, so it is not loading. Let's fix this up too. Bear with me. Okay. Almost there. So you can see there I've got the image now showing. I've got the description, if there was one, and the name, of course, being shown as a title. Okay, let's swap that around. Awesome. Sorry about that. So now you should be able to see that. Let's go back to code now. Cool. Okay, so we've got like I said, the images, the heading and the like. Now we need to start sort of thinking about how we're actually going to build this up as a component. So we've got our image there, we've got our headings, we've got our description. Let's put some images in, maybe a description, so that we can see that on our actual project. So the cool thing is with Supabase is that it has like this whole view of the table there. You know, it's literally like an editor in the cloud. You can literally go straight to the table editor there, click on the table, and it's not that much different than say like Google Sheets or a spreadsheet of some sort, and you can literally go and you can start editing there, which is quite cool. So on this one I'm going to say okay, so that should set that. Enter there, that should be saved. Okay, if we go back to the app itself, sure enough, cool, it's displaying on the page. And we can do the same for the likes of the descriptions here. Okay. Awesome. What I can also do, I could probably add some images shortly. We'll leave that for now. Go back to the page here. We've not got any hot refresh, of course, for data, but as we reload it, we can see there that it's got the likes of all those 3 descriptions that I just placed in. Okay, so a quick check on how that's looking under the skin and the HTML that's rendered out. Okay, so yeah, sure, we've got an image, H3 and p-tag. Cool. So you can see it's quite easy to start creating all your tables that you require. We can start building out the rest of our structure. And I'll probably call pause on this today. We're probably at the sort of starting point of now actually getting to the nitty-gritty of actually building elements into our app. So we'll I'm going to start creating some of these tables here. What I'll do is I will also publish any changes I've made and commit them and push to GitHub. For those that are following along, you'll be able to pull down the latest version of the app and you'll be able to see where it is. And then what I might also do is I might actually grab the SQL for the tables and the data itself as well, so that if you want to pull them into your own version of it, you can do that as well. Next time I'm going to go over fleshing out more of that data structure. So what I'll do is we'll go and do some database diagramming, just so that we've got a clear picture and on our head of what we are trying to build, and then we'll implement that in Supabase. Okay, awesome. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Please like and subscribe, and thanks to all those that managed to get me to 100 subscribers. Greatly appreciate it. But yeah, tell your friends, and I will see you next time. Bye.